Riches are not something you chase. They are something you allow. The moment you understand this, the struggle ends and the flow begins. In 2026, wealth no longer belongs to the loudest, the luckiest, or the most aggressive. It belongs to the calm mind, the aligned spirit, and the person who understands the invisible laws behind visible success. Most people believe money is earned through exhaustion, sacrifice, and endless pressure. They believe wealth must hurt before it heals. But this belief itself is the lock on the door of abundance. What you accept as true becomes the pattern of your life. If you believe money is difficult, it will arrive with difficulty. If you believe money is scarce, it will play hide and seek with you forever. The best way to get rich now is to stop pushing and start positioning. Wealth responds to certainty, not desperation. It responds to inner authority, not anxiety. When your mind is divided, money feels unsafe coming to you. When your thoughts argue with themselves, opportunities pass you by silently. Riches move toward those who are mentally prepared to receive them without fear, guilt, or self-sabotage. In 2026, money flows toward value, clarity, and energetic order. This means your first responsibility is not to hustle harder, but to think cleaner. A cluttered mind creates a cluttered income. A focused mind creates a focused stream of wealth. You cannot speak lack all day and expect abundance to arrive politely. Every word you repeat is an instruction. Every belief you entertain is a command. When you say money is hard, life agrees. When you say opportunities are limited, doors close without noise. When you say I am always supported, help appears from unexpected directions. The wealthy mind is trained, not lucky. The next great secret of wealth in this era is alignment. People are no longer paid for time alone. They are paid for insight, influence, creativity, and courage. The best way to get rich is to do what feels natural to you, but useful to others. When effort feels forced, wealth resists. When action feels aligned, money accelerates. Ask yourself a powerful question. What do people naturally thank me for? Where do I solve problems without strain? Where does my attention naturally sharpen? Inside those answers is your most profitable direction. Trying to copy someone else's path delays your own rewards. Wealth cannot recognize you when you are pretending to be someone else. Authenticity is not just spiritual, it is profitable. The more honest you are with yourself, the faster money can find you. In 2026, the world rewards those who simplify. Complicated plans collapse. Clear intentions multiply. You do not need 10 income streams. You need one aligned stream that you respect, nurture, and grow. Money flows where attention goes. Scattered focus produces scattered results. Another law of wealth is expectation. What you expect sets the ceiling of your income. If you expect struggle, you will struggle well. If you expect ease, life rearranges itself to prove you right. Expectation is not wishing. It is calm certainty. It is knowing without tension. When you act as if good things are normal for you, they become normal. The best way to get rich is to remove resistance. Resistance shows up as guilt about wanting more, fear of success, fear of judgment, and fear of responsibility. Many people unconsciously block wealth because they associate it with stress or loss. The mind protects what it believes is safety. Teach your mind that wealth equals freedom, generosity, peace, and expansion. Money is neutral. It becomes what you believe it to be. Generosity is another key. This does not mean reckless giving or self-sacrifice. It means trusting circulation. What flows out returns multiplied when given without fear. Stinginess signals fear. Gratitude signals readiness. Even appreciation for what you already have opens channels you cannot see. The rich person is not the one who hoards, but the one who trusts supply. In 2026, technology amplifies intention. Your thoughts move faster than ever before. Opportunities connect quicker. But so do doubts. This is why discipline of thought is no longer optional. You must choose your inner dialogue carefully. Speak to yourself as someone already supported, already guided, already capable. When confusion appears, do not panic. Pause. When fear appears, do not argue. Replace it. When delay appears, do not complain. Prepare. Life responds not to noise but to inner order. The best way to get rich is to stop asking how and start affirming who. When you become the person who expects abundance, opportunities reveal the method. The path unfolds as you walk it. Clarity comes through movement, not waiting. Take inspired action, not frantic action. Inspired action feels calm, timely, and certain. Frantic action feels rushed, anxious, and heavy. Wealth moves with intelligence. Match its rhythm. Finally, understand this truth: you are not meant to struggle for your good. What is meant for you arrives through alignment, faith, and preparation. When your inner world agrees with your desire, the outer world must comply. Riches are not distant. They are listening. Speak wisely, think clearly, act faithfully, and allow life to surprise you with how easily it can support you when you stop resisting the good meant for you. Wealth does not respond to effort alone. It responds to the state of mind behind the effort. Mental alignment is the true engine of riches, and without it, even the hardest work produces limited reward. A person can labor endlessly and still feel financially starved if their thoughts are scattered, conflicted, or rooted in fear. The mind is the blueprint, and money simply follows the design that is already formed within. Mental alignment means your thoughts, expectations, words, and inner assumptions move in one direction. When the mind is aligned, there is no silent argument between desire and belief. Many people say they want wealth, yet their inner dialogue is filled with doubt, guilt, and unworthiness. This contradiction creates resistance, and resistance slows everything. Money cannot flow smoothly into a divided consciousness. The disciplined mind understands that every repeated thought becomes a habit, and every habit becomes a destiny. Thoughts are not harmless, they are commands. When a person consistently entertains ideas of lack, delay, or struggle, life faithfully reproduces those conditions. When a person trains the mind to expect support, opportunity, and steady increase, circumstances begin to rearrange in subtle but powerful ways. Discipline of thought does not mean force or suppression. It means selection. You choose which ideas deserve your attention and which must be dismissed immediately. Fearful thoughts are not enemies, but they are not leaders. The aligned mind observes fear without letting it decide the future. Wealth grows where fear is acknowledged but not obeyed. Struggle is often mistaken for virtue. Many believe that if something feels difficult, it must be valuable. This belief alone creates unnecessary hardship. The universe does not reward exhaustion, it rewards clarity. When effort is driven by anxiety, the results are unstable. When action is driven by certainty, results compound naturally. Mental alignment also requires releasing inherited beliefs. Many people unknowingly carry financial limitations passed down through family, culture, or society. Ideas such as money being scarce, success requiring suffering, or wealth changing people for the worse lodge themselves deeply in the subconscious. Until these ideas are questioned and replaced, they silently dictate outcomes. A disciplined mind does not repeat phrases that weaken it. Complaints, comparisons, and self-criticism are forms of mental leakage. They drain creative power. Every time a person speaks against their own progress, they slow their own momentum. Silence is often more powerful than negative speech. Choosing better words reshapes inner expectations. Alignment creates coherence. When the mind is coherent, decisions become simpler. Opportunities become easier to recognize. Energy is no longer wasted on hesitation. The aligned individual moves with quiet confidence, and this confidence signals readiness. Wealth is drawn to readiness because readiness knows how to hold it without chaos. Mental discipline also involves patience without doubt. There is a difference between waiting and wavering. Wavering cancels momentum. Waiting with trust strengthens it. The aligned mind understands that timing is not punishment but preparation. What arrives too early often collapses under its own weight. Focus is another pillar of mental alignment. Scattered attention produces scattered income. When the mind jumps constantly between fears, plans, and comparisons, power disperses. When attention is gathered and directed, it becomes magnetic. Wealth responds to sustained focus more than sudden bursts of effort. A disciplined mind does not envy. Envy divides the mind and weakens self-trust. Instead, it recognizes others' success as evidence of possibility. This recognition keeps the mind open rather than contracted. An open mind receives, a contracted mind defends. Mental alignment also means making peace with desire. Many people secretly feel guilty for wanting more. They fear judgment or responsibility. This guilt creates internal resistance. When desire is accepted as natural and good, it becomes clean energy. Clean energy moves faster than conflicted energy. The aligned mind understands that imagination is not fantasy, but instruction. What is held consistently in imagination begins to shape behavior, perception, and choice. When a person imagines abundance calmly, without desperation, the subconscious begins to act in accordance with that image. Small decisions shift. Risks become calculated instead of feared. Confidence grows quietly. Discipline does not mean rigidity. It means returning to alignment whenever distraction appears. No mind is perfectly focused at all times. The difference lies in recovery. The wealthy mind notices misalignment quickly and corrects it gently. This consistency compounds over time. Struggle often comes from believing that everything depends on personal force. Mental alignment introduces cooperation with life itself. Ideas arrive. Help appears. Salute. Ions emerge without strain. This does not remove effort, but it removes friction. Effort becomes effective instead of exhausting. The aligned mind respects rest. Burnout clouds judgment. Clarity requires space. A rested mind hears guidance more clearly and makes fewer costly mistakes. Wealth is built as much by what you avoid as by what you pursue. Certainty is the final expression of mental alignment. Certainty is not loud or aggressive. It is calm and grounded. It does not argue or explain. It simply moves forward. When certainty replaces doubt, the mind stops sabotaging progress. A disciplined mind does not ask constantly if something will work. It commits and adjusts. Indecision drains more energy than failure. Alignment creates decisiveness, and decisiveness attracts momentum. The true work of wealth is inner order. When the inner world is organized, the outer world reflects that order. Opportunities align with readiness. Resources match responsibility. Income stabilizes and grows without chaos. Mental alignment is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of choosing trust over fear, clarity over confusion, and expectation over doubt. Each aligned thought is a brick. Each disciplined choice is reinforcement. Over time, this inner structure becomes unshakable, and wealth rests naturally upon it without strain or struggle. Money moves toward truth. It does not respond to performance or imitation for long. Acting from authenticity means allowing your natural strength, instincts, and perspective to lead your actions. When you are aligned with who you actually are, effort feels clean rather than forced, and results arrive with less resistance. Wealth recognizes the person who is honest with themselves because honesty creates consistency, and consistency creates trust. Authenticity begins with self-permission. Many people dilute their potential by trying to appear acceptable, impressive, or safe. They adjust their voice, their ideas, and their ambitions to match what they think will be approved. This creates internal tension. The mind spends energy maintaining an image instead of creating value. When energy is split, progress slows. Money responds to clarity. Clarity means knowing what you offer, why it matters, and who it serves. When you are unclear, others feel uncertain engaging with you. When your intention is clear, people sense direction and confidence. You do not need to explain excessively or convince aggressively. Clear intention speaks quietly and carries authority. Calm certainty is the emotional signature of sustainable wealth. Desperation repels opportunity. Anxiety clouds judgment. Urgency driven by fear leads to poor decisions and unstable gains. Calm certainty allows patience without passivity. It creates space for discernment. When the mind is calm, intuition sharpens, and intuition often sees opportunities before logic can justify them. Acting from authenticity also means accepting your pace. Not everyone is design. D for speed. Some paths require depth, others require visibility. Comparing timelines creates pressure that distorts alignment. When you honor your natural rhythm, momentum builds organically. Forced acceleration often results in burnout or collapse. Wealth grows faster when actions are congruent with values. When you compromise your values for short-term gain, the subconscious creates resistance. Even if money arrives, it rarely stays. Inner conflict weakens decision-making and attracts complications. When actions align with personal values, effort feels lighter and progress feels stable. Clarity removes friction. A person who knows their direction wastes less energy questioning every step. They are not constantly seeking validation or permission. They move, observe, adjust, and continue. This movement builds confidence through evidence rather than affirmation. Authenticity also attracts the right opportunities while filtering out the wrong ones. When you are honest about what you want and what you offer, incompatible situations dissolve early. This saves time, energy, and emotional resources. Wealth is not just about accumulation, it is about efficiency. Calm certainty allows you to say no without fear. Many people remain financially stuck because they say yes to everything. They overextend, underprice, and exhaust themselves. The aligned individual understands that every yes is a commitment of energy. By choosing selectively, they protect their focus and increase the quality of their outcomes. Money favors those who trust themselves. Self-trust develops through alignment between thought and action. When you say you will act and you act, confidence grows. When you constantly hesitate or abandon decisions, self-trust erodes. Wealth responds to those who follow through consistently. Authenticity also requires letting go of identities that no longer fit. People often cling to outdated self-images that limit growth. The mind resists change because familiarity feels safe. However, wealth expansion often requires identity expansion. You must allow yourself to outgrow old labels without guilt. Clarity simplifies communication. When you are clear internally, your message becomes precise. Others understand you faster. Opportunities move toward you because you are easy to work with. Confusion creates friction. Simplicity accelerates exchange. Calm certainty does not mean lack of ambition. It means ambition without tension. The desire to grow exists alongside trust. This balance prevents self-sabotage. When ambition is fueled by fear, it consumes. When ambition is fueled by alignment, it sustains. Authentic action produces natural authority. Authority does not come from dominance or noise. It comes from coherence. When words, actions, and intentions align, people feel it. They listen. They respond. This authority increases influence, and influence multiplies income. Wealth also flows toward those who respect their energy. Working constantly wit. How renewal signals scarcity thinking. It suggests that rest must be earned rather than deserved. The calm mind understands that restoration is productive. Clarity is often born in stillness. Acting from authenticity includes embracing simplicity over complexity. Many believe wealth requires elaborate strategies. In reality, simple ideas executed with consistency outperform complex plans abandoned prematurely. Simplicity allows focus. Focus allows mastery. Certainty reduces the need for external reassurance. When you no longer need constant confirmation, you move faster, you become less reactive, decisions become grounded rather than emotional. This stability attracts long-term opportunities rather than short-term wins. Clarity also involves understanding your audience or environment without abandoning yourself. Adaptation does not mean imitation, it means translation. You express your truth in a way that can be received without distortion. Wealth in this era is relational. Trust is currency. Authenticity builds trust faster than perfection. People forgive mistakes made with honesty more easily than success built on pretense. Calm certainty allows you to weather fluctuations without panic. Income may rise and fall, but identity remains stable. This stability prevents impulsive decisions that damage long-term growth. Acting from alignment also sharpens timing. You know when to move and when to wait. Impatience fades because trust is present. This discernment prevents stead effort. The person who becomes wealthy through authenticity does not chase approval. They create resonance. Resonance draws the right people, ideas, and resources together naturally. Clarity of purpose acts as a compass. Even when circumstances change, direction remains intact. This prevents derailment and keeps progress cumulative. Calm certainty quiets the mind enough to recognize opportunity when it appears. Many chances are missed not because they are absent, but because the mind is too noisy to notice. Wealth responds to coherence. When who you are, what you do, and why you do it align, Money flows as a byproduct rather than a pursuit. Authenticity allows wealth to arrive without internal conflict. Clarity allows it to stay. Calm certainty allows it to grow steadily without chaos or fear. Abundance is often delayed not by lack of opportunity but by inner resistance. Resistance is subtle. It hides behind logic, caution, habits, and old stories. It appears as overthinking, postponing, doubting, or feeling undeserving. Removing inner resistance is not about forcing belief, but about dissolving the tension between desire and acceptance. When resistance fades, abundance no longer needs to push through obstacles, it arrives naturally. Expectation is the silent architect of experience. What you quietly expect determines what you repeatedly receive. If you expect struggle, life organizes itself to provide it. If you expect ease, support begins to appear in ways that feel almost coincidental. Expectation is not hope or wishful thinking. It is a settled assumption. It is the inner conclusion you live from, without constant emotional charge. Many people block abundance because they associate it with fear. They fear responsibility, attention, loss, or change. The mind interprets wealth as unsafe and unconsciously prevents its arrival. To remove resistance, abundance must be redefined as safety, freedom, generosity, and expansion. The subconscious only allows what it believes will protect you. Inner resistance often shows up as perfectionism. Waiting until everything is ready delays movement. Movement is what creates clarity. When you expect ease, you act sooner and adjust along the way. This reduces pressure and invites flow. Ease does not mean laziness. It means cooperation instead of struggle. Expectation of ease softens the nervous system. A relaxed system is more receptive. Stress narrows perception. Calm expands it. Opportunities are often present but unseen because the mind is tense and defensive. When tension dissolves, awareness widens and options multiply. Resistance is also fueled by identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, ease feels unfamiliar. The mind resists unfamiliar states even when they are beneficial. To expect ease, you must allow yourself to become someone who receives without apology. This shift in identity is subtle but powerful. Guilt is another barrier. Many feel guilty wanting more when others have less. This moral conflict creates inner sabotage. True abundance does not take from others, it expands what is available. When you release guilt, you allow yourself to be a channel rather than a competitor. Expectation trains behavior. When you expect good outcomes, you prepare differently. You communicate differently. You take cleaner risks. These changes are often unconscious, yet they produce visible results. Expectation becomes self-fulfilling because it shapes choices at a deep level. Removing resistance also involves releasing attachment to how abundance should arrive. Rigid expectations create pressure. Flexible expectation invites surprise. When you trust the outcome without controlling the method, life responds creatively. Abundance often arrives through paths you would not have planned. Fear of disappointment can lower expectations. People protect themselves by expecting less. This strategy feels safe but limits expansion. Expecting ease requires courage. It requires trusting life without guarantees. This trust is rewarded with momentum. Inner resistance thrives on comparison. Watching others succeed can trigger self-doubt or impatience. Comparison shifts focus outward and weakens alignment. When you expect your own path to unfold perfectly for you, comparison loses power. Focus returns inward where influence exists. Expectation also affects timing. Impatience signals distrust. Trust allows unfolding. When you stop fighting the present moment, the next step reveals itself naturally. Resistance delays because it argues with what is. Acceptance accelerates because it works with reality. The expectation of ease does not deny effort, it reframes it. Effort becomes purposeful instead of exhausting. Actions feel guided rather than forced. This quality of effort produces better results with less friction. Resistance is often maintained by old disappointments. Past failures create protective skepticism. While understandable, this skepticism keeps the heart closed. To expect ease, you must allow the past to release its grip on the future. Each moment is new, but the mind must agree. Gratitude dissolves resistance gently. Appreciation for what already exists signals sufficiency. Sufficiency attracts increase. When you appreciate without clinging, you create space for more. Gratitude is not passive, it is preparatory. Expectation also influences interpretation. When challenges appear, the resistant mind sees obstacles. The expectant mind sees instructions. This difference determines response. One reacts with fear, the other responds with intelligence. Removing resistance includes forgiving yourself for delays. Self-judgment tightens resistance. Compassion loosens it. When you treat yourself as capable and learning, momentum returns. Ease becomes natural when control is released. Control is often mistaken for responsibility. True responsibility includes trust. When you trust yourself and life, you stop micromanaging outcomes. This trust frees energy for creativity. Abundance responds to openness. Openness is created by expectation without tension. When you expect good without demanding proof, the inner door remains open. Closed expectations close doors before they appear. Resistance also fades when you recognize that receiving is as important as giving. Many are comfortable giving effort but uncomfortable receiving reward. This imbalance creates exhaustion. Allowing reception restores balance and sustainability. Expecting ease reprograms the nervous system to feel safe with success. This safety allows abundance to stay. Without it, gains are often lost or rejected. When inner resistance dissolves, synchronicities increase. Meetings, ideas, and resources align naturally. These events feel effortless because effort is no longer fighting belief. Expectation is a form of permission. When you give yourself permission to experience ease, life complies. The outer world mirrors the inner allowance. Removing resistance is not dramatic. It is gentle. It is choosing trust over tension repeatedly. Each time you choose ease, you weaken old patterns. Abundance arrives naturally when it is no longer argued against internally. When expectation is calm and open, life moves towards you without resistance and receiving. NG feels as natural as breathing.